The glass door opened with a quiet push, and Yuan stepped in, holding a steaming cup of coffee. She hesitated for a moment, watching him so absorbed in his work in his house office room, his jaw clenched in focus. Knock knock, she said softly, though her knocks only tapped the edge of his desk. Jungkook glanced up, his chair case immediately softening when it landed on her. You didn't have to, he murmured, voice low. Yuan placed the cup beside his papers, careful not to spill a drop. You will forget to eat at this rate. At least drink this. He leaned back in his chair, eyes still on her rather than the coffee. You came all the way here just to boss me around? A chuckle escaped him short, rare but real. Sit here, he said simply, nodding to the chair across from him. She pulled out the chair opposite him and sat down, her presence filling the heavy silence of the office with warmth. He is her husband, cold, reserved most of the time, but attentive to her. The marriage was not in their plan, but God made them together. They are still trying to work on their relationship. He reached over and adjusted the chair she was sitting on, turtling it just enough so she sat straighter. His fingers lingered for the briefest second, a silent, careful gesture. She blinked, surprised. Thanks, he murmured. Don't make a habit of it, she said flatly, then burst out laughing. He smiled softly, letting the moment linger, sipped the coffee, noticing the faint warmth of his gaze on her, even if he wouldn't admit it. The sunlight slipped through the curtains, brushing against Yuan's face and pulling her from sleep. She turned slowly, only to feel a sharp familiar edge in her abdomen. Her hand pressed gently against it, her eyes squeezing shut as the pain forced her to curl slightly under the covers. Please go away, she groaned softly, curling further into herself. Last night had been restless. The discomfort had wakened her multiple times, leaving her barely able to sleep. Only an hour ago had she finally drifted into a shallow slumber, but now, as the flow grew stronger, the edge intensified. From the wardrobe, the soft click of buttons drew her attention. Jungkook emerged, full dressed from the office, his gaze landing on her immediately. Good morning, he said, his tone calm, measured. Good morning, she murmured, voice hoarse from barely any sleep. I am heading to the office, he added, slipping his tie into place. Yuan nodded, eyes closed, trying to ignore the thump in her stomach. Jungkook's brow frowned, just slightly at her muted response. Not coming down for breakfast? His voice held that subtle edge of concern, quiet but pointed. She shook her head against the pillow, hoping she wouldn't insist. I want to rest more, she whispered. He moved closer without hesitation, lowering himself onto the edge of the bed beside her. Are you okay, Yuan? His voice was calm, distant, yet there was an undercurrent of care that made her chest flutter. She shallowed her, aware of the strange tension that always stuck when he noticed the smallest details about her. He was cold, reserved, yet somehow this small attention made her heart escape. Yeah, just couldn't get enough sleep last night. I want to sleep a little more, that's all. She forced a smile, hiding the sharp pangs of pain. Jungkook nodded, landing closer for a fleeting moment to brush her hair back with careful fingers, almost like a habit he didn't want her to notice. Take rest then, he murmured, standing up. He paused at the door, glancing back once again, a quiet air settling in his chest too. Every morning she gave him a bright smile and a peck on his cheek before leaving. He would never say it loud, but it was the small, private moment he cherished more than anything. With a soft exhale, he turned and walked away, leaving Yuan alone to sink back into the shades, feeling the warmth of his quiet attention lingering long after he had gone.